And good evening, everybody. Welcome aboard to episode 182. I'm Gary Redmond, one of your hosts for this evening. And of course, the podcast begins right now. So, we're going to have a lot to talk about because there was a lot of things that happened in this 1-1 draw, of course, with Harper's, of course, late goal. Gives the draw to Chicago. I mean, everything looked pretty much dicey there. We were all staring at another loss. And then Harper comes off the bench and becomes a hero, along with Chupo. And it goes to people asking questions what happened with that. We're also going to talk about the Baby Bulls. They gave up one goal, and then next thing you know, they scored 4-5 against Toronto FC 2. They're starting to get their roll, get the ball rolling on their end. And of course, Gotham FC. Of course, you didn't miss it. They didn't score a goal against Angel City, but because of that, they walked out on a draw. They stay unbeaten right now. Out of all the teams in the New York metropolitan area, they are still the hottest soccer team in the area, and they're moving on in. Now, Nicholas, of course, is going to be talking about the preview with New York Red Bull versus Philadelphia Union. That's the next guys to come into the Cathedral, and we owe them one after getting a goal and then coming back and scoring two and giving them for what for. Now, of course, we're going to talk about match predictions for Red Bull New York versus Philadelphia Union and all the other games that we have coming up in the league. Now, no horn today, guys. We score one goal, City scores another. They scores a goal, that's a tie. No horn's going to be sounded today, so that's the end of that. Now, if you miss a live show that's happening right now, don't sweat it. Of course, you always catch the recording on our YouTube channel, or of course on our home from the very beginning, Spotify.com. Okay, we upload our new episodes every Wednesday at midnight, so you can always stay up to date, and you can always watch us whenever you like for your viewing and listening pleasure. And of course, we strive real hard to make one of the podcasts one of the best out there, soccer related out there, and this is where you guys come in, right? So if you have any questions, comments about the podcast, or guests, or anything else, please don't hesitate to email us. Our email address is rbdgthepodcast@gmail.com. That's rbdgthepodcast, one word, @gmail.com. Your feedback is not only very important to us, something that's greatly appreciated, and we use that to get ourselves better every episode, every time. And we always read them even after the show comes to the conclusion. And last but not least, a big, very happy birthday to one of our guys out there in the group, a terrific individual, Kevin Stoke. Happy birthday, brother. I hope you're out there enjoying your birthday with all your family and, of course, your friends. And with that said, let's, of course, bring, the guys who are going to basically join me for the next hour or so. Oh, excuse me. That's better. Okay. Feeling a little bit under the weather after my surgery. Apologies for everyone, but I figured I'm strong enough to give you guys a hand, because actually Nick and Mark, of course, are the stars of the show. So, gentlemen, I trust your weekend was good. Mine was fine until Monday. until the doctor decided to throw a scope in my, inside of me, and take out some heartburn. I'm with some heart medication, but I'm okay. Let's talk about the game real quick. I mean, to be honest, we come off of a disappointing loss versus Nashville. Okay, the guys arguably played, I think, the best ball of the season. They just made what young teams usually do. They make the mistake, and then that one little mistake cost them on Wednesday night. And thanks to a free kick, that a foul, and then they give up the goal on a set piece. And set piece defenses have been an absolute headache, not only for the fan base but for the team in general. At that point, Nick, Mark, what were you thinking? I don't want to throw your way back into Wednesday night. You weren't too happy.
Wednesday night wasn't a bad night. We saw a lot of.
Tell that to the group. They were fed
overall, up. Again, I think a lot of people have to take a step back. Let's move back from the edge. Don't stand don't stand near the edge of the cliff. This is an official rebuild, so they say. We are not going to see this team perform miracles. We're not going to see this team come out here and be world beaters. But they stepped it up.
Calibrate your
Thank
expectations.
you. We said that in February.
Yeah.
It bears repeating.
After
So
game one, after we
yeah,
thought we were going to score 19 goals in the game.
yeah, oh yeah, no, it was. We were delusional back in March, and now the reality is setting in. It's the end of August, and we're not that good.
Mm.
So, but overall, I mean, I brought a friend of mine to the game. We sat actually great seats, 126. I would say who I got him from, but I'm not going to. I just say thank you, thank you, thank you. So we had a bird's eye view for a really solid performance overall by the team
Yeah.
up until that moment.
Yeah.
But that's again, how many of the almost did we have? We had several close chances. Yeah, I think Nick and I were talking
I got
2.28
I
expected goal.
natural.
Yeah. I mean, we should have scored at least one, maybe three, but it didn't happen. Young guys weren't weren't ready to get the ball at that moment. I laugh because I think Thursday the ball that Adrian Manetti hit probably landed somewhere over Newark because I mean that he skied that shot, and even he was scratching his head going, "What was I thinking?" Yeah, but it was one of the takes, and this is something that I think we're going to get into later. With unfortunately, Cade got hurt Saturday, but during the game on Wednesday and in the first half on Saturday, him and Dylan Nealis were not on the same page. Those
No.
two were barking at each other,
No.
and
One
it's
was
like,
going
hey,
left, the other one was
yeah,
going right, then one was going
they were
right,
both
the other one was
looking
doing left. They looked
what
like
are you
two
doing?
very
Yeah,
bad dance partners, Mark.
did you just get here? You know, it's like, have you not practiced together all week? What that was really it was confusing for me to sit there and go, why are you two not
On the same
on the
page.
page? Yeah, what is going on over here?
They were on the same page until the break.
Yeah, they were playing well. I mean,
Okay, well, great. You haven't played a game in anger in almost 2 months, right?
yeah,
A
and now
little bit more
something's
after,
wrong.
a little bit more after than 2 months, right? So, but still, that's your teammate that you've been banging heads with and playing against in the training pitch all this time. Do you not know who you balling with? I mean, I understand that some teams get a little rusty, but that's a bit much, guys. That's a bit much.
Whatever mojo this team had scoring before this World Cup break,
They've gone.
that's gone. I mean, it doesn't help that we're moving Julian from center to left to right to back to center, back to left, back to right.
Right.
Jorge Ruvalcaba is now, well, he was suspended for a game for weeks.
We just lost your audio. Sorry. Say it
Look,
again.
I said we had Jorge on the left for pretty much all season long and being a solid contributor all season long, and that disappeared. And and then I'm sorry, not Cameron, Cade, until this last two games was a pretty solid performer, pretty much all year round too, scaring the bejesus everybody running on all cylinders. But that chemistry where we're getting the cutbacks, the runs, the ball getting threaded long over the time, you don't see that anymore. You see occasionally a couple of passes from Audrey when everybody's condensed and Audrey's able to sneak the ball through. But what was clicking and scoring, that's all gone. And that's
What I'm noticing, Nick, is there's a lot of passing in the box. They know how to get there. They know how to get. They push the other team's defense right at the box. At that point, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with the ball. Pass to the left, pass to the right, back into the left, back to the left. Guys darting in and out of the box, trying to at least get a shot trying to get a shot. And if they do, it's a weak one or something that winds up in the seats. I mean, that sounds like a team that has basically lost its mojo, trying to figure out what to do with the ball. And don't get me started with the set piece defense because it's comical. I mean, I don't get these guys. I mean, that's something that I blame on the coaching staff. I mean, you're trying to, and you say that you're trying to do everything right, but then we see on the field and it doesn't see that. And I agree, Anna. You don't see quality. You don't see quality crosses. You don't see passes in the middle. You don't see none of that. Okay, and yet other teams seem to do it at will. Okay, almost to the point where it literally, if I can be bluntly honest, and I will, at ease, with ease. Okay, whatever excuses that you have at this point, you don't have any. You have to, the way I see it, you have a choice. You either can let it continue or you fix it, okay? Because the fans' frustration of coming out to the arena week after other week is palatable, okay? Some have basically given up and said, you know what? I'm not buying any season tickets. I'm not making the trip. And that's in their right to do so, okay? Surely they don't have any expectations of being a championship team this season, not with so much turnover, and more important, you're going to add a new coach learning on the job. I mean, I never thought I'd actually say that, but but here we are, okay? So nobody has any mistaken precautions of this team. If they did, they weren't paying attention when I was telling everybody recalibrate your expectations when the roster came out. We all looked at it. You, me, Nick, Lonray, Miggy especially. He practically set fire to it and put it in the garbage can. Okay, so that's pretty much how he told all of us that whatever signings everything they suck. This team sucks. Okay. If it didn't pass his smell test, then we knew it was in for a long year. But we also knew that in some areas this has some quality. We're all looking at Chupo's last year at the team. We're all looking at Emil Forsberg's last year at the team. The only question is, okay, who are you bringing in to replace those guys? Because, it doesn't, doesn't really make any sense. Okay, you had a trialist, okay, Ryan Williams, who for some reason had some pedigree. He played, in the Premier League. I mean, he would have definitely made a difference, but you didn't sign him. Either he didn't meet your price or you didn't meet your price. We don't know. All we know is he's going to wind up balling someplace else. Okay.
He's balling in the second division.
He's balling in the second division. He balls someplace else. Okay, so. You also have to understand that you also got another guy learning on the job, and that's Julian de Guzman. Okay, he learned under Jochen Schneider, who didn't do very much. Okay, when during his years was here, he came in. He knew what he had to do. He had to sign some ballers, at least have a competitive team. But it only went so far when the kickoff of the first week. I'm still going to give him his flowers, but now he's going to have to step it up, okay, and bring a team which is basically, in my view, a C team back to maybe a B plus, hopefully an A. Your thoughts before we go into match recap.
Here's something that we've been talking about. If we're going to talk about the roster, you have to talk about the fact that Chupo has not featured much at all. Right? Jimenez was brought up. Where is Roald Mitchell? The guy got 2 offers to leave. 2. Because he's not getting any playing time here. He should be getting playing time here. I don't know why he's not. We signed Volador. He's like probably the worst defender we've ever had.
Yeah.
And like people were comparing him to some of our classic members from the Metro Star days.
Nick was torching this man every week. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Nick
and
was
that's
like,
why
get this guy off this team.
He's not even on the 20. Right? He's not even on the bench.
We said, if you can't defend and you can only pass the ball and you're a center back, you're not going to be playing.
No.
And he doesn't win a duel if his life depended on it.
No.
All right. So, and now to go even further, you're asking Julian Hall to go play outside on the wing because you have Jimenez at the 9, which is ridiculous. That means that Rubalcaba is sitting on the bench when he's been one of your better performers. He's been one of your better performers, and you have him riding the pine, right? Cam Harper is back from injury. This guy was peaking when he got hurt. And I know him. I don't have his jersey hanging currently. I have the other jersey hanging up. But I've talked with Cam. I've met him a few times. This guy loves being here. He
wants to stay
here.
He
wants to stay here. And I mean, he's not going to give you a hometown discount because he's not hometown, but the guy can play. We've seen, look, that header was amazing. First touch, the ball's in the net. You can't ask for more of a guy off the bench. All right, you just can't. So how is it that we end up in these situations? Listen, I can't even argue with John. John's 100% correct. This is the other frustrating side of the coin. We play so poorly against the bottom of the league, yet you look at us and we seem competitive against the teams.
Right, that's the thing. Right, that's the thing that drives you, me, and everybody nuts. Yeah. Okay, how is it that you play low to your competition? Come on, I mean,
that's a coaching thing, and that's also a player thing. Not realizing what's in front of them. This team in front of us stinks, and they're lost. We got to step on them early, make sure that they're miserable about it, being on the field with us. That's a coaching. And the coaching has been done. The coach has been done for the jugular on plenty of occasions to prefer to the learning experience. I'm sorry. We're playing a team like Philly coming off the break, and it's a 1-1 game at halftime. Why let them back into the game? Yeah. We just scored. We had all the momentum.
And the other part of what he's saying was when we were talking last year, when we saw him, he was mixing and matching a little bit down at Red Bull too. That's where you play who can play what position. Let's move this guy here. Let's do this. And they're doing it now. We'll get into the Red Bull 2 later on in the show, but that's the place where you start moving guys around. Like putting Berger in as a center back was a huge mistake.
Oops.
Right? Again, another one on the coach. I mentioned it in the group.
Which explains the reason why he pieced out. He couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. I said it. I said the honeymoon is over. We have given this guy the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
He can have all the pedigree in the world. We know who his dad is. We know who he is as a player. But he got a cup of coffee.
He was a midfielder.
Yeah.
He was a badass midfielder, and your midfield's a mess.
Yeah, that's the probably the most frustrating part.
I hate to be, I hate to throw the brushback pitch at this man, but that's how I'm feeling. I'm looking at his standards. Okay, he was the type of player. I'm not saying he was above average, and of course there are better midfielders than he. Okay, I don't think you want to put the words world class and Michael Bradley in the same sentence, but he was decent. Okay, he knew where he needed to be. He knew where he needed to be defensively and offensively. I just don't see that. So I'm thinking, okay, you knew who you were when you was a baller. You're not explaining this to the people under your charge? There's something wrong here, and I have to agree with Mark. That's coaching. There's something there. I mean, you want to talk about narratives and everything else, fine. But when you talk about narratives and stuff like that, at the end of the day, people want you to do one thing: produce, boss. Okay, because they're making the trip. They're not having sky-high expectations because of the team that you have, but they're expecting something better. Okay, so speaking of which, let's talk about the match recap between Red Bull New York and Chicago Fire FC.
Every ticket sold. We're underway tonight. Glad you're with us on Apple TV with Danny Higginbotham and Andrew Wiebe downstairs. Good ball centrally to play the Fire on their way. And in transition they come. Radojevic to play this ahead. Bamba and a shot by Lou. Didn't get enough on it. Fire looking for the escape route. They can't find one. Instead, Jimenez. Miscommunication with Julian Hall on the left side. And Williams to play this out wide. Zinkernagel turning, does well with it. Now Bamba. able to play this ahead. Quick shot, goal! What a finish by Marin Haile Selassie! And the Chicago Fire have taken the lead.
It's something that we've been saying for a while. The switch of players on. Just watch how narrow Nealis has had to come here because he's covering. And because of that now, all of a sudden he finds himself in a situation where he's got 2 versus 1. And it's brilliant play because they just take their time. The ball then goes to Haile Selassie, and what a finish that is. And what I like about Haile Selassie is, yes, he's playing as the false 9, but he has the ability to just go and roam around, go and find the space, and he's found that by drifting over to the left-hand side. But this is all about the switch of play. All those 3 players as well that we've said going down that left-hand side, Radojevic, Bamba, Haile Selassie, all involved, and the ball goes into the back of the net. Chicago may not have been at their best, but
controlled here. Zinkernagel wearing the captain's armband tonight. Dispossessed. Red Bull plays it ahead. Jimenez. Donkor gives it a go. Save made by Brady. The rebound loose. Cowell with the follow-up.
a couple of more touches at least committed one of the defenders.
Rubalcaba knocked down, no foul. Let's see what Haile Selassie and the Fire can do. Here they come in transition. Flood, Haile Selassie, Bamba, save made. Ethan Horvath with the necessary stop to keep it a one-goal game.
It's a really good save from Horvath, but what a counter-attack from Chicago.
This ball sent in. Mehmeti got a piece of it, but it goes wide. Lays this off. Haile Selassie, now Robin Lod. To the foot of Bamba. Had some net to shoot at, but right into the arms of Horvath. Taken back by Red Bull again. Here's Donkor. Picking up Valencia. Omar Valencia with a shot that's handled on a bounce by Brady. Choupo-Moting has a step on Saletros, gets the shot away, saved by Brady. Valencia finds Choupo-Moting. Choupo plays it across, goal! Has that for an interest, Cameron Harper's again!
Now, you talk about instant impact, and it's exactly what happens. And it's the centre-forward Choupo-Moting finds himself in the wide areas. And a lot of times, centre-forwards get themselves in the wide areas, and they know exactly what players want when they get into crucial areas. And you see Harper just hanging on the wrong side of Dean, and all of a sudden he makes that late run and gets not just across Dean, but he also gets across Waterman. But it's brilliant from Choupo-Moting. You talk about substitutes as well, having an impact. Well, you've got one that gets the assist, and you get the other one that gets the goal. And what was looking like a desperate last few minutes for Red Bulls has changed. And now they'll believe that they have the momentum and could potentially get the 3 points. They'll want to win the game. They're asking all the questions, but they still have to be mindful.
Sofo has room to turn with it. Mohamed Sofo. Not enough on the shot. Easy picking for Brady. Sofo. Mehmeti. The return for Sofo. That's a good touch. His shot. Save made easily by Brady.
Oh, he had a better option. Choupo-Moting.
Broken up by Red Bull. Here's Harper. Julian Harper. Cameron Harper, man of the hour. But with that, time expires here at Sports Illustrated Stadium.
He made 4 saves tonight, so I guess we saw the good Ethan Horvath, and with the draw, the New York leads moves to 16, 14, and 16. Okay, which is basically 500 against Chicago, and are beaten of 5 of their last 6 matches at home versus the side. So, It was a good night overall, despite the concussions and everything else. However, people can't, help but point fingers, at the crowd that was there. Of course, naturally, it was also fireworks night. Not only we, Robert Lewandowski, coming in, and you might be, you might be forgiven if you thought that they were playing against the Polish national team, because all I saw was Polska all over the place, and it was a sea of red. I mean, I was, happy to see that, but I was also disappointed because I was like, okay, most of these guys are not for us. I mean, red everywhere, red and white everywhere, not just for us. I mean, but folks are pointing fingers at Julian. He hasn't scored, but John Mamoral once again to the rescue. You think Bradley has a right to start Julian as much as possible? He did when he was impacting games a lot. That hasn't happened in a while, and I have to agree with you, John. Time to switch up. Time to put the old the veteran in there until he's no longer with us. But I don't think he should lose his spot. But I think it's time for a switch. What's your thought about this, Nick? I mean, does Julian deserve another spot after this, or do you sit him for a bit until he heats up again?
I think you still start Julian. Julian is, let's be real here. As fans, we want the team to win now.
Oh, yeah.
There's also the other side, what the future is. And the future is still with Hall being here, getting the minutes that he needs to be as the number 9. So my thing is he should start most of the games, especially most of the games, but Chupo still should see at least 30 minutes a game. He's that much
come off the bench. Yeah, come off the bench. It's a super sub.
He's still a quality player. You can still, and Hall has proven that he can play both sides. So if Kay, Bubakaba, one of them is struggling, you can move. As much as we don't want him to be moved outside, you can move him outside or play him underneath Chupo. I think would probably even be better for him. Let Chupo take the majority of the center back's attention and let Hall move underneath him. Which we could just playing things as we like.
I see a lot of back and forth, and I'm loving this. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of back and forth. With Subheen. I mean, I agree that bringing a big name would bring awareness, but will that bring wins? I doubt that. You know why? Because we had big names. Okay, we had better ballers. What we don't have is a star above the crest. So I get it. Okay,
I got one.
Sports Illustrated Stadium is fantastic when it's full, as it was Saturday night. Looks great, for TV and everything else. It shows that we're being a big club and big doing. But if you don't put numbers underneath the W in the standings when it's all said and done, then that's especially wins that will help you win a championship. I would rather have a squad of better ballers than one guy bringing people in the seats. I'm sorry.
And we've had that discussion before, and that's I know Anna mentioned it. Having a big name guy is not going to solve the problems that we have on this team. This roster is still a mess. All right.
Right.
We talked about it. Julian's done some work to bring in some players. Look at Che. This guy was signed. We never heard of this guy, all right? And he's been a solid player for us. That's more of what we need with guys to be solid contributors week in and week out. The whole the debate about who should start, who shouldn't be. I don't know if this is one of those situations where Bradley's getting a mandate coming from Red Bull Global that they want to see more of the kids play. He's not exactly like, you're not talking about a guy who's been here for 5 years and has won 2 cups and he can rest on his laurels and his accomplishments. He's the new kid on the block. Right. So, is he?
Right, remember, you have a head coach who's learning on the job.
Yeah. So everybody's learning on the job. We didn't say this was going to be pretty this year.
No.
And it hasn't. But there have been moments. You look at the last 2 games. All right, we have seen a solid performance from this team 2 weeks in a row. All right, and we saw a couple at the beginning of the season, but I think part of the way that Julian was able to play, nobody knew this kid. Now they've seen film of him. They know him a little bit better. They're maybe easier. It's easier for them to defend against him. I still think he's a solid contributor, and I still think he has the right to start. But I did not understand why Chupo was riding the bench for so long. We saw a perfect example why he is a 65th, 70th minute substitution. He should be in the game
a lot earlier than that.
Yeah. Well, but I'm saying, you look at you have to have him in the last 20 minutes, maybe the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You give Julian the opportunity to start. Let him run 60 minutes. Then you let Chupo finish the show. It doesn't even seem to be like a difficult decision to make, but yet we're seeing the guy sit and rot for week in and week out. And
let's not forget, and I think I know what you're about to say, Nick, but let's not forget, okay? Bradley can be stubborn.
Yeah, trust me, we saw that in Montreal, man.
We saw that in Montreal. He can be stubborn, okay? Almost to his own detriment.
While we were sitting there watching that disaster on the field, you saw Chupo just sticking his hands on his hips, and he was like turning around to looking at the 12 of us that were in the stands and the supporters.
You see this?
I'm like, we want you in.
You see this? I can tear these people apart, but I'm here.
Put you in the field, I would, but I can't do that. There's nothing. We were just looking at each other like, is he going to get on the field? He's not going to get on the field. He's not.
No.
I mean, I want to say this. We're running out of show. I mean, I want to say this, to Anna and Supreme. I agree with you. Having a big name will bring, like I said, I'm not against having someone that, that can bring the casuals and fill up the place. I'm all for it. 100, not even 100%, 1,000,000%. And I'm telling you that. But however, you got to get the right guy that's going to make the team better at a whole with this current roster, because there isn't much. And also to the point, you got to sell that guy something other than big bucks. You don't want someone to pay a whole lot of money and he's just playing on the field bored, okay? He needs to be motivated to get this team going, okay? If you have that type of player that's just going to bring bodies in the seats and not much else, it's a failed experiment. And if you go back through all the years from Metro Stars years to today, they did that. And I think fans have gotten used to having better ballers come in and run around in a hard pitch at Giant Stadium, when it was grass and then turf and then grass and then finally back to turf, okay, and then finally in a nice little home in Harrison. Should be in Jersey City, but I digress, okay, but, that's a story for another day. But what I'm telling both of you is, yeah, it'd be great. I mean, it'd be a great story. It'd be great to write about them. Big name A, big name B, big name C, and people coming out to see them. But if they don't move the needle other than attendance, it's a waste. And that's why I think Red Bull, is saying, you know what? Yeah, we want a big name, but we want someone. We'd rather have 5 big names or 6 big names rather than one guy, which adds to the frustration. Why don't they sign those 5 guys, to make the team better? But how you going to sell that to, you're going to have to get rid of these kids, okay, to bring in some veterans. And the question is, do you really want to do that, especially when those kids, we know that they're going to be quality down the road? I mean, you don't want to mortgage your future, take care of your take care of, your present. And I understand the fans want to win now. Hell, I want them to win now. When they made the trip up to the finals, I was saying, okay, even if you don't win it, you got to build behind it. You got to tell your fans, okay, this nice little trip we made to the finals, we're going to be back in about a year and 2. And it doesn't look that way. And I get it. I absolutely get it. I get the frustration. I get the I get people telling that watching this team is a chore, etc., etc. I'm not dismissing that. I'm not dismissing what you're thinking, Anna, and I'm certainly not dismissing what you're thinking. But just throwing random names, hoping that they would sign something, sounds great till they hit the pitch, and then we had to see if these guys, if these guys are worth it, if these guys are worth the trip and everything else. So we're going to take ourselves a break. Nick comes back after 30 seconds, and we're going to talk about the Philadelphia story. Remember that? We got down to Chester. I hate that place so much. And it ended like it usually did. But now the scene shifts back to Harrison. We're going to talk about how Philadelphia's been doing since then. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Sorry about that. Note there, the game is take place on Saturday, not Wednesday, as you saw on the graphic there. Our apologies to all. Let's talk about Philadelphia. I mean, Nick, it's kind of weird. Nick, Mark, people calling this a rivalry, but I don't know. I mean, is getting upset losing to the Union considered a rivalry? I mean, I'm going to ask everybody else. I mean, when they lose, lose to the Union, does that piss you off as much as it pisses me off sometimes? I can't show any emotion. That's the problem. I'm up there, I'm not supposed to cheer or anything else. I'm in the press box. But every time we walk out of Chester with the team with a loss, I get more than just annoyed.
Okay. The way we've been losing in Chester, those disaster type of losses. Ever since that playoff game that we had that 3-1 lead, ever since then, I don't think it's been a fun trip to Chester. We've lost, as you know, playoff game, 2 playoff games, 2 Leagues Cup game in the shootout. We've lost a cup game, an open cup game in disastrous form. How much more punishment can you take going down to Chester? And then in between all that, we get in our getting humiliated too in the process in a couple of those games, like 3-0, 4-0. It's been
it's embarrassing.
It's been a horror show.
It's bad enough getting there, right? Showing up, because it's got to be one of the worst. We think Harrison's bad, this is like hold my beer.
As the flood zones that Chester turns into when it rains.
Oh God!
I have sneakers that are still drying out from the last time we were there in the Union Cup game.
So you look at the situation with this. I don't know so much that it's a rivalry, but it's an embarrassment.
Okay,
we had a team that came in the league well after us. They've taken on.
Billy went there and he said that's his first and only trip. I don't blame him. I don't blame you, man. I'm like, no. I mean, I have to go there because it's my job. Okay, so but
I wouldn't be going there either.
No, I mean, I went for a Red Bull 2 game. When Bethlehem Steel was in their final season before they became Philly 2 and the switch from USL to MLS Next Pro. 49 people in that place, and it's
definitely friends and family.
Yeah, it was a joke, but like getting there, driving down the one main road to get to the actual stadium itself. I mean, there were more potholes than pavement, and I'm thinking to myself, you think you could fix the roads over here? Like, oh my God,
they have 2 parking lots. And the other one is a gravel pit, and then if it rains, you're walking in the mud. You're walking in mud.
It's just, but like I said,
and you're tracking that mud into your car.
That's just
nice.
So to have to go into that dump, I'm going to use the word dump because I'm going to be polite, but we have played so badly down there, Right? These guys have just owned us, and now it's more of an embarrassment. We need to show some self-respect. We need to slap these guys in the mouth and send them home with a loss. That's basically what it comes down to. Enough's enough. We can't keep losing to this team.
I'll
And they're in,
I'll never
they're
forget.
in 13th place. 13th. Here we go
I'll
again.
never forget. I'll never forget. And I'm sure they're going to bring their fans. They're going to make the quick trip up I-95 to Harrison because it ain't that far. I remember, and they were filling up about 6 sections, okay, in the upper deck. And they're right next to us in the press area, okay? I will never forget the last time they played a Philly and Philly beat them, swept the series, and how loud they were after the final whistle. It was like a playoff game. And if I wasn't so busy, getting my article out and getting it in for publishing a press time, you can forgive me for being more than annoyed. And I agree with you, Billy. I mean, any team versus Philly, I get annoyed losing to. I mean, that's why my beloved Knicks crushing the Sixers during the playoffs felt so satisfying. I mean, absolutely satisfying. Just
Game 4 couldn't be any better. I can still see Game 4 all over again.
All over again. That slam dunk over an Embiid was like chef's kiss. I mean,
like 60 at one point. How embarrassing! Yeah, keep on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Kai Wagner. He loves to jog, especially you guys. I mean, all of us. I mean, he loves to talk. The supporters group, especially over in Red Bull. He loves to talk trash and everything. So, Nick, despite that win, right? They moved up a couple, but right now they're about 5 points away. They're within shouting distance of us. So, tell the good people what's been going on with Philadelphia since then.
When we last left Philly, we went at the start of the restart. They had 1 win on the season. Now they're up to 5 wins on the season. 5 wins, 6 draws, and 10 losses. They're undefeated since the restart. 4 wins and 2 draws. 2 draws against 1 is against Miami. 1 is against Austin, which just happened this past weekend. They beat us, Seattle, NYCFC, and Yankee Stadium, which was, you thought Philly's turf situation was bad. You guys didn't see how bad Yankee Stadium was when they played against Philly. That was a disaster to be shown. There were Philadelphia Union players were on the field videotaping how bad the grass in the stadium was. With oh look, so we can see the cement marks where the baseball stadium is. Congratulations, congratulations, guys!
Congratulations. They can't get out of there fast enough. They really can't.
Interim head coach Ryan Richter has basically gone back to what worked for them. Remember, he was their Philadelphia Union 2 coach. They've just been promoted up. He's in the interim. He's there on an interim basis. But the way things are going, he's probably going to get the job. He's gone back to what worked real well for them. Play certain kids, surround them with 6 or 7 veterans, and let's see how they go.
Right. That's the difference between them and us. Okay, they have veterans.
And let's see how it goes. And they're undefeated since the restart under him. Milan Ilowski has 10 goals and 5 assists. He's the number 1 player. Kevin Sullivan, the soon-to-be Manchester City player, 2 goals, 7 assists. The kid is. He's the future playmaker of the U.S. men's national team.
He's amazing. Goodness gracious.
Kai Wagner has come back to this team and it instantly is taking over what he was doing best, and that's giving the ball to their forwards. He's got 4 assists in 6 games. Quinn Sullivan is back from his torn ACL. He's already got 1 assist. He's basically getting better as each game comes along.
He's a pain.
They found this diamond in the rough. Neil Pierre, 6-foot center back, 6'7". Let's get that right. 6'7" center back. 3 goals in 6 games. This guy's a beast.
Especially in set pieces.
We have
a monster.
How are you going to defend 6'7"? We have nobody above 6. We have nobody above 6 feet tall. 6 feet tall back line.
No, you don't. And he's not just tall, Nick. He's
quick.
Big
and quick.
He's big and quick. Try boxing that dude out. Good luck.
The key to the team has always been there's one of the midfielders, Delaney, Jean Jacques. If he's on, they go. If he's off, they'll search for they'll search for it till they find it. But if he's on, like he's been since the restart, he's got 3 goals and 3 assists, and he's got a goal against us in the last game. And of course, then you have the guy that loves to torment us in the back, Andre Blake, who, even though he's got 20 games, only just 3 clean sheets this season, always comes up big against us. He raises his game against us every single time, and he hasn't done this for the last 9 years against us. So they're one of the hottest teams in the league, even though they did crash out in the League's Cup, but who cares about that? Anyway, no one cares about the League's Cup. MLS does.
Cash grab.
Cash grab. Thank you. They're coming on. They're 5 points behind us. They were in dead last place for the wooden spoon. Now KC has that. Congratulations to you. You guys lost to Atlanta at home. And they're moving up on the standings. Now they're 2 points back of a playoff spot.
2.
They're coming. And they're getting healthier.
Right.
And they got the position. They got players. Wagner's come back. He's made a huge difference on the team. Pierre is a big addition. He's just been promoted from their second team. They're coming. Get them all.
I see nothing but bad news here. I see nothing but more of the same down in Chester. Put your coach's hat on, and what do you think that they have? Red Bulls have to do to at least get a point from this squad, because I don't see them winning. To be honest with you,
if it's one of those, if the team plays like we saw the last 2 games defensively,
right,
we're in it. Right. The problem we're having is guys are not finishing. The quality is not there in that final third. How many shots did we see guys shank?
That's if they make shots.
Yeah. Well, we touched on that before the break, and that was something I was going to bring up. If you were to go back and watch the last 4 games, and this is where I'm basing this off of, the last 4 games, we have seen our guys making those extra passes in the box, just outside the box, and it's almost like Nick and I said, the soccer IQ has left a few of our players. Like, you're taking an extra touch or an extra 2 touches when you should be making that decisive pass. Why are you dribbling further instead of making that pass? You see the guy making the run, send the ball.
More importantly, why are you trying to walk the ball into the
listen. I've coached U12s, and
like you're in Little League.
Yeah, it would drive me nuts to watch one of my wingers get the ball from a center back on our side of midfield, and he literally dribbles all the way to the end line and then looks up. Oh wait, what am I supposed to do? You have to have that game awareness. When Sofo took the shot, instead Chupo was wide open.
Dude, he's Chupo.
And Chupo
afterwards,
right? Chupo gave Sofo the look of death, like I'm right.
Oh my God! My whole section was just looking at Chupo, and just Chupo I think he would have melted the guy the way he was
right here.
So there's something, we talk about the coaching needing, that's something that has to change. And we've conversely, I think Anna mentioned it earlier on, and I know John and I talked about it, and he's mentioned it a bunch of times.
Right,
over the last 2 years, we've seen a switch at Red Bull 2, a focus on offense, and we've seen guys who can play, striker, winger, coming in, and having an impact. Guys with speed. There's nobody filling in defense right now. Well, these guys are now up with the first team, and their coach from last year is here. Why are we not scoring? And that's the if we're going to make a run at this game, we have to have guys finish. And we know how much. Yeah, we know how much we love that word, but we need to finish. We need to take the opportunities were granted and do something with them. I mean, I know Julian Hall was just killing himself. He missed on that instead of the right foot to the left. It's like, oh, if I had just taken the shot, and that's where we're all screaming it from the stands, and then after the fact, it's like stop trying to be provider and start take a. But again, at the same time, if you see your teammates open 8 feet away from you, why are you taking a weak shot when you have him? You know he's going to bury that ball.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah,
I mean, you dip in, you dive in, and everything else, and then it's weak sauce right to the keeper. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I mean, if I'm a coach, that's why I just walk off the pitch, grab him off the team, and throw him into the bench. I'm like, I mean, I couldn't take it anymore after that. I'm like, what are you doing?
At that point, he was out of subs, and Sofo was the sub, for obviously for Cowell. So you couldn't.
I mean, don't judge me, Billy. Because I would definitely do it. I would walk on that pitch and grab Sofo and just throw him in the bench. Like, look, man, you're gonna be taking weak shots like that, man. Yeah, I can't use you. I can't.
It's tough.
I'm really not gonna kill Sofo as much because I'm not gonna kill him for the fact that he was playing a role that is not him.
I mean, do you have any idea the sound that makes when you have about 20,000 people yelling "shoot"? I mean,
that was Duncan. Yeah, Duncan didn't want to shoot the ball. That one highlight we saw, Duncan didn't want to shoot the ball, and he had an open look.
I was like, it's like everybody shoot.
Suddenly, everybody's the coach. So it's. But like I said, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that we could win. I don't think we're going to. If we walk out,
things have to happen. I mean, I agree with you, Mark. Things have to happen. I mean, the way the team is right now, the way it's constructed, the way they're going through game after game, they're working hard. Okay, they're doing exactly. I agree with, with Michael Bradley when he's saying they're out there, they're doing everything they can. You're right, but it goes with, you can't teach soccer IQ. You can only instruct it. You at the end of the day, you got a couple of veterans with surrounded mostly by kids, and they gotta figure things out. They gotta learn on their own and stuff like that, and that adds to the frustration, of course, for the fan base. Okay, and Marcel is right. Once Philly gets your lead on you, game over. Okay, their defense is obviously better than ours. Okay, and that's exactly what happened in Chester. We got a goal. Only problem was we couldn't sustain it. I mean, we started making mistakes all over the field. Nick, you were there. They were just blowing up the midfield, and we were like, okay. I mean, it's like, they were playing, how should I put it? Maybe 20 minutes of football. They were great. They were collecting passes. They were, they were second. They were first to the ball. They literally made Philly look slow. Then after the goal, then they slowed down, which was kind of weird to me. I was like, okay, you didn't put your foot up on the gas at that point.
Halftime.
You're playing against a foot. Halftime. You guys didn't just go nuts after that, but no. I mean, once they slowed down, it was right in Philly's wheelhouse. They just simply muscled up, got a goal, then got another one, and that was it. Kai Wagner stepped up and, okay, time for us to finish these boys. And they did. They did.
Because we can't park the bus. We currently don't have the talent to park the bus.
No,
we are not Arsenal. We don't take a 1-0 lead and sit back for 45 minutes. It doesn't happen. Not with this squad. All the team needs is one mistake. We saw
it. There you are.
One night.
Yep. My man right here said this is a quote of the night. We absolutely work hard. But we don't think. we don't think, and that's what
Yeah, the IQ.
like you said, low IQ. other games that took place, of course, back over at the campus. And remember, we were worrying about if these guys were going to start scoring again? Well, you can forget that idea. Okay,
Yeah.
New York Red Bull 2, they gave up one. And then they scored the next 5. Yengar with 2 goals, 1942. Rojas got his. Neelic got his. Gallagher got his. Okay, so it was definitely it was it was one of those games. Gallagher scored his 6th goal of the season, second most of the club. Rojas got his 4th assist of the season, 2 matches against Toronto in his campaign. 20-year-old has compiled 3 goal contributions against Toronto. They can't stand this guy. They're tired of him. Rojas got his 4th of the season. Gengar, he got his 4th and 5th goal of the season.
He started as the 9, by the way.
Yeah. Excuse me?
He started as the 9.
He started.
wow.
He was the center forward.
He was the center forward.
Yeah,
And actually looked good.
Yeah. So, Nick and I talked about it. The 3 of the goals were gifts. I mean, especially at when they were down 3-1, you could see they just shut off.
Rojas' goal. You can't explain that goal.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you're like a kid in a candy store. We're going to score some goals. You don't want to play defense.
You get a goal, or you get a goal, and you get a goal. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, that's what it was.
Yeah. So, listen, we talked about, the team not performing like they should be, and compared to last year. Yeah, it's again, you're missing pieces off this team. You have basically no defense on this team. There's nobody of any. I know that they have the one kid Mason that they brought up. He's just starting out. I mean, he could be a future player, but again, you're talking about kids that you're just bringing in. You're just getting into the system. So there's not a lot of cohesion on the back line. We've been rotating goalkeepers all season long. So it's
with aiding on.
Yeah. So
sorry.
And then and of course in the first team we're still waiting for AJ to come back. But yeah, he does not belong down there. All right. But he also doesn't fit into the defensive midfielder that we're looking for.
No.
All right.
Because
So
the last time he was there, a lot of people seem to forget. The last time he was there, he was bossed around that midfield a lot. Okay,
Yeah,
a lot. I was really worried about him. I mean,
no, and what's scary is Nick and I were talking about it before you shut up, Gary. But Philadelphia wants him.
yeah,
Philly
So-
will fit right in.
Yeah,
They'll fit right in.
he'll fit right in.
That's what they do.
he fits their style of play, and that's
We have a style.
everybody hates when we say that. But
I mean, yeah,
but it's true.
yeah, but here's the thing: we have a style of play that, unfortunately, not too many players play, and can do that on a consistent basis. You'd have to go get, it is a style that you have to be athletic, and most soccer players are. Okay, you have to have you have to have the savvy of a scientist. You have the physical prowess of a linebacker, and you need to have the speed, of a 100-meter runner. I mean, that's basically it. And and not a lot of soccer players press all that time, 90 minutes, and they can't really do that.
We signed somebody a few years back, and after he left, one of his comments was, "Yeah, I didn't realize how much running these people do."
Right. I mean, they try to outrun everybody, and
Yeah.
and I
You're not ready for it.
You're not ready for it. You ain't staying very long. I mean, and I have to agree with with Miguel. Sometimes I wish they would be able to go a little bit away from that run, pass, press. Okay, that seems to dominate the Red Bull style. But you're gonna at some point someone's gonna have to come in and go, come here, look, guys, let's I'm not saying we got to slow down, slow down the game, but just make sure that you're able to, get the players that can able to fit that style, so they can able to, be more conducive. Unfortunately, and you're not going to get too many balls. Meanwhile, out in California, Los Angeles to be precise, Gotham FC, no longer New York, New Jersey, just Gotham FC. And, of course, Angel City FC played to a 0-0 draw. Well, that's the bad news, of course. With the draw, Gotham FC ties the club record for its 9-match unbeaten streak. They're still hot. They haven't lost in nearly 2 months, Nick. Okay. Goalkeeper Ann Katrin Berger recorded her 10th clean sheet of the 2026 season. She's a wall. She tied her own club record from last year. She is the first, guys, NWSL goalkeeper to record double-digit shutouts in consecutive seasons. And she's also the first to have 10 or more in multiple seasons for one club. She's also the second goalkeeper in league history to record 10 shutout seasons. She is joining Nicole Barnhart, FC Kansas City back in 2013, Utah Royals FC in 2019. She has now 27 career shutouts, passing Bella Bigsby for 8th in single club and 9 overall in league history. She's also played 90 minutes. She also passed Rocky Rodriguez, 5,751 minutes for 10th in club history with 5,758. Midfielder Miss Savannah McCaskill, she made her 150th career season start, becoming the 32nd player to reach that milestone in the league. Midge Purse, she's going to be gone probably after this year. 68 minutes. She passed Rocky Rodriguez, 5,751. Remains ahead of Ann Berger with 7,558 minutes in club, 5,760. Purse made her 86th regular season appearance for Gotham FC. Christine Pierce for 5th in club season. And finally, she also made her 66th career season start for Gotham FC. Taylor Lytle and Rocky Rodriguez in 8th in club history. So when it's all said and done, these ladies are basically balling right now. They extended their lead on top of the table. They're looking to wind up with the Shield when it's all said and done. And that has me a little worried, Nick, because the last time they faced the team that had the Shield was over Kansas City Current, and they went down and they beat them. So, anything can happen, in that particular playoff, and there's only a few games left, by the way.
Yeah, listen, Gotham was on such a roll. Even though they might have lost Lavelle for a little while with an injury.
That's the bad news.
That's the bad news of the game. They did have a penalty at the end of the game that was saved, so they could actually won this game and walked away with 3 points. I don't know the extent of the injury as of yet, but losing her, and especially after you lost Gonzalez, and after she left the team, your front line is taking such a beating. But your back line, and especially in goal with I just drove blank on her name, with Miss Berger in the back, you're giving up 13 goals on the season. 21 games, 13 goals allowed. That's how you win in this league. Yeah. Don't give them up.
Don't give them up. Score first and then sit. Dare, and
if
literally
you have the ability to do so.
Yeah, you have the ability to do so. Sit there and sit. So that's basically the story of. We'll tell you exactly. Gotham FC's next game is at home on the August 28th versus the Portland Thorns. New York Red Bull 2, by the way, their next game. Oh boy. New York Red Bull 2. Guess who they're facing? Connecticut United again.
Yeah, in Connecticut.
In Connecticut. We're right on the campus of Yale University. Yeah, that's where they're playing out there. As a matter of fact, 7 o'clock, August 29th, that's the kickoff time over there. Red Bull New York is with Philadelphia. Kickoff is at 7:30. Okay, let's talk about predictions, our most dangerous segment of the show.
No.
Mark, you're first. What do you say? What do you see when it's all said and done?
I'm going to say 1-1 draw.
Another draw.
Because I don't think we're capable of winning, and I'd like to hope we won't lose. So okay. I think we end up with a 1-1 draw, which doesn't help our pride, but we don't lose. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay, Nick.
I'm not going to go out on a limb here and say we're going to win this 1-0.
1-0
I
against that offense.
I'm trying not to laugh.
For some strange reason, I don't know why.
Horvath gets his clean sheet record going again.
I think our defense has played much better, and we finally learned how to see a game out. Let's see what happens. It's a prediction sure to go wrong, but I want it to be right.
Okay, but I'm going to add.
I wouldn't mind being right, but I don't think it's going to happen. But
I'm going to add to that. I'm going to add to that, and I'm going to go do this. I'm going to shock everybody, including everybody in the panel. Which, well, by the way, thanks to you guys for being here. A 2-1 win. Yeah, yeah, a 2-1 win. Something has to give. Okay, I'm sure that most of those guys, they're sick of this club. They're sick of losing to these guys. They're gonna. I would like to see them do to them what they did to Red Bull when they went down to Chester. They protected their home court. Time for them to do the same. You either, this is for the home folks. Okay, this is for people who made the trip. This is for those who feel that you can't get it done. You need to convince them to say, you know what, we ain't the sucky club y'all think we are. Okay. Remember when he talked about narratives? Well, I'm afraid this is the one game where you're going to have to start making narratives on your own and
punch him back.
Punch him. You're getting punched in the face every time you walk with this club. Time for y'all to start punching back. Even if you fight to a draw, people will be happy. Of course, just don't lose to these guys. So that's about it.
Hey, listen, we did beat them last year. Here,
yes, we did.
Yeah. Sports Illustrated, and when Dylan actually scored his only MLS goal of his career. He scored in a couple cup games, yes. So, but his only MLS goal was against Philly, and it was a winner. So, hey, I'm not surprised if we do win. Philly can't be this good for. They can have a letdown, and they've been leaking. They leaked a couple of goals last time, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, episode 182 is now in the can officially. And remember, if you missed the live show, which is happening right now, you can catch the recording on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate you when you do. And, of course, you can also catch us at our home from the very beginning, Spotify.com. We upload all the new episodes like this one every Wednesday at midnight. So you can always catch us and stay up to date, and you can watch it for your viewing and listening pleasure. And of course, as always, we always love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions or comments about the podcast, our episodes, or guests, or anything else, please don't hesitate to email us at NYRBDG, the podcast, gmail.com. Your feedback is very important, and we appreciate and the comments. For those guys who signed on to us during the live show, thanks very much for joining us. Next week, Lon Ray Badmus, and of course, the Viper, Miguel Nunez, will be joining us next week and tell about all the fun and games that took place in Philadelphia. Hope for a win, because I don't think I can take through another show with those guys ranting and raving and and whatnot. And by the way, thanks very much for your well wishes for me going to the hospital today. I had to have minor heart surgery, so I'm all good. Looks like my ticker is working just fine. Of course, although I'm sitting in front of you guys fully medicated, but I definitely appreciate your comments and your well wishes. Thanks very much. You guys are fantastic as always. We will see you next week, boys and girls. Until then, good night and goodbye for now.